graders, this is Mrs. Heath recording lesson 9.2, which is on coordinate grids. And actually there are two parts to this, so this will be part 1. And as we started in lesson 9.1, or as I stated, I should say, in lesson 9.1, it says, how do we coordinate grids and points? And we did some practice with that with our game, kind of like battleships. We practiced doing points in ordered pairs. Now, as you can see, we have a grid or grids on this sheet. And what I was talking about is how there's those 4 different sections here. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you're moving left to right or right to left, that can have a big impact on if the number is negative or positive. Now in this coordinate down here on the left, both numbers are negative, okay? Over here, only one, our second number is negative on the vertical axis. Up here on the upper right hand coordinate, that is positive. And over here, our first number or horizontal number is negative, with our second being positive. So that's what I meant by the 4 different sections and how it could be negative versus just our positive grid or plane when we did that on Monday. So we're going to take a look at how that looks a little bit different today. All right, so our mental math today is a little warm-up. It's a little review of prime factorization with exponents. Now, on our math box on Monday, 9.1, we talked about prime factorization. So I'm going to go there now, and I want you to take a look at this, as it's pretty important for you to do this practice. Kind of wait for IXL here to load. A minute. Oh, here we go. Write the prime factorization of 8 using exponents when appropriate and order the factors from least to greatest. For example, 2 squared times 3 times 5. All right, so if I were to break down 8, I could use 4 and 2. Okay, I know 2 is prime already. And then if I break down 4, that would give me 2 and 2. So I want to use exponents. So I want to do 2 to the 3rd power. Oh, I don't want 3. I want just 1 3. Okay, so 2 to the 3rd would be 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8. Let's try it. Good. All right, so on to our next one. Write the prime factorization of 9 using exponents. All right. Well, what do I break 9 down by? Well, I hope you're thinking in your head right now, 3 times 3 is 9. What kind of number is 9? Hopefully you said it is prime, so I'm going to do 3 to the 2nd. Oh, gosh, that thing is touchy. And 3 times 3 is 9. So as you can see, it's important to do these. Prime factorization of 4. Hopefully you know that is 2 and 2, right? So we would like 2 to the 2nd. Ugh, gosh, this thing is touchy. So we would get 4 again. So breaking it down into prime factorization is important. All right, so 16. We have a couple different options. We could do 8 and 2, which is what I think I want to do, or you can do 4 and 4. 8 and 2. 2 I know is prime, so I would circle it. 8 would be 4 times 2. I'd circle my other 2. And then I break down the 4, and I have 2 times 2. So I have 2 to the what power? I hope you said 4th. I hope that's what you said. And 2 to the 4th power should be 16. So we'll do one more. Prime factorization of 10. I'm going to do 5 and 2. And now I have 2 and 5, which are both what? So I would want to do 2 times 5, right? So I'm going to stop there, but I really want you to remember how to do prime factorization because that is super important. So we're going to stop right here, and we're going to go back to our other problem here now. I'm going to get out of IXL. Close that. Okay, and we're going to move on here. So today you're going to be plotting on a map, and it's a plot the following ordered number pairs on the grid. So ultimately it says connect all the points in the same order in which they were plotted. Then connect 12.5 and 4 to 17.5 and 5 and 21.5 and 15.5 to 21 and 14. When you have finished, you can see an outline of the continental United States. So here's what I'm thinking we're going to do for this one. So for this one, what I want to do is this. I want to actually plot a few of these points with you. So I'm going to start with my first one. Let's see here. Let's get that pen to work. I'm going to do 21 and 14. So if I go along the bottom, I always go over first. So let's scooch over here. 21. And then I'm going to go straight up to 14, which is right here. And I want to put a little dot right there. Okay, so there's 21 and 14. And then I would do 17 and 11. And again, 5th graders, remember when you do that, you always go your horizontal first, left or right, 17 up to 11 right there. And I'm going to put a dot there. Okay. And we'll do one more. 17 again over to 13, which looks like it's right here. All right, we'll finish this up in class, but I want you to think about when you're plotting points, how important it is to make sure you double check your lines, make sure they're on the right line, and follow it down and across. All right. And finally, reviewing coordinate grids. What do we need to remember about coordinate grids? On a piece of paper, please list what you remember about coordinate grids. Now, you're going to hand this little sheet in. See if you can think of like 5 things. Now remember on Monday in our lesson, I had some vocabulary words on there. I'm going to give you a hint. One of them was vertical axis. What is vertical axis? And what can you tell me about it? That would be a great one to start with. So you're going to review by putting these in on your little piece of paper that you're going to hand in as part of your review of coordinates. Now remember, this is coordinate grids part 1. We'll be doing part 2 the next day. So again, how do we coordinate grids and points? And this, again, very important to take a look at this whole plane and whole coordinate grid. Because although we worked on Monday just with a section, this is all 4 coordinates and how negatives come into play with this. So thank you for being a great audience. Thank you for listening. I hope you have your 5 items. If you can remember the 5 things we talked about, something you can tell me, and even what are these 2 numbers called? That's another great one to put in. All right. Have a great evening, 5th graders.